Hello, this is my video on dissociative identity disorder and the movie Fight Club. First off, I assume you've watched Fight Club and know the twist. Most people know the twist, so there's spoilers. Dissociative identity disorder is defined by the presence of two or more separate realities. I, right now, have 21 personalities. Far more than Fight Club's protagonist, only a two-person reality. I believe that the protagonist in Fight Club can be accurately diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder. However, this is a work of fiction, so things aren't exactly perfect. Things do match up with DID here, and in other places they don't. Because, well, it's fiction. Chuck Palahniuk, the author, is completely free to use any roles he wants for the characters that he writes about. That's how fiction works. That being said, I do think that the author was completely aware of dissociative identity disorder whenever he wrote it. And he is purposely writing his characters as if they had that. I also hope that David Fincher, the director of the film, was aware of DID when he directed the movie. And David Fincher is one of my favorite directors. I love The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. So is the movie Fight Club possible? Simply no. The extent to which Tyler Durden spreads his secret organization across the nation is far too involved for the narrator not to notice what is going on. And even if he did notice, it's still pretty impossible. But there is some truth to it, in regards to being an accurate example of DID. One thing is, the narrator loses large spaces of time, which is typical of people with DID. It is amnesia that results from disassociating, while the alter, Tyler Durden, moves to the front, so to speak, the front of consciousness. However, there are a lot of moments when both the narrator and Tyler are co-conscious. This is also typical of dissociative identity disorder. There are times when both are at the front of consciousness and they talk to each other. For instance, the narrator says that Tyler sometimes speaks for him. I fell down the stairs. This co-conscious state would make it appear that that Tyler is an independent being, because he literally sees him acting independently, making different choices than the narrator does. In the moment of realization, the twist, so to speak, the narrator realizes and says out loud, I am Tyler Durden. You got it. Personally, I don't like this presentation of dissociative identity disorder. There's a point in the movie where Tyler Durden even calls himself an imaginary friend. As someone with DID, I believe that each of my alters are separate individuals, separately experiencing life. My realization was something like this. I'm having a body and brain along with many other selves. I will say that psychologists would probably disagree with this. Some psychologists would probably disagree with this interpretation. Now, let alone the people in your life, how they will interpret this if you come out to them. As far as I can tell, the official definition of DID is careful not to officially agree between two perspectives. Those who believe there are separate personalities versus those who believe there are separate selves. Well, I believe there are separate personalities, but I believe they align with separate conscious selves. And I think there are a lot of people who disagree with me, and a lot of people need help figuring out what is really going on, which is one of the main reasons I started this channel. How did I realize I had alters and DID? Was it as identity-wrenching as the Fight Club's realization was? Yes, it was painful. Like giving birth. I thought I was possessed by demons. Then I thought I was talking telepathically to people all over the world, including dead people, including angels, and spiritual beings. If you have these beliefs, I would suggest you go to a mental health professional. My realization that I had DID started about 5 years ago, 2016, and I am always on the verge of getting a hold of it. Something sensitive I'd like to just touch on: sex with DID. It definitely is a difficult subject, and I think a lot of DIG channels don't go much into it for that reason. There are moments when the narrator has sexual memories in a blur without having any idea where they come from. It seems that Tyler Durden is able to have sex without the narrator getting involved. There is a moment when Tyler asks the narrator of Marla Singer, "You want to finish her off?" This indicates that though they share one body, they are still separate sexual beings, and they can even maybe have sex separately. So you might be thinking, how do I deal with sexuality while having 21 alters? That's 22 people who need consent. I don't want to go too deep into it, but I will say it's a very difficult thing that I am trying to figure out. I will certainly simply say we all have certain agreements made to make things easier. That said, consent. Is everything perfect? No, but we respect each other enough to keep working towards compromises and a happy sexual life. So the question is Fight Club a good representation of DID, or does it further the stigma against DID? A lot of people consider Fight Club to be a movie accidentally about toxic masculinity and violence. So what's my view? Well, first I would like to say it's a movie, so I understand it can take some creative license on reality. People would be advised to not take the movie too seriously or to see it as a serious example of DID. Honestly, I really like the movie. Does it encourage violence? Yes. Does it misrepresent DID? Kind of. Yes. Does it encourage toxic masculinity? Maybe. There's plenty of men's rights activists that are out there encouraging Fight Club, like it's a book from the Men's Rights Bible. So why do I like it? So why should I like it? I like Fight Club simply because it's one of the few movies with DID in it in which I can identify with the characters. Sure, Tyler Durden is a sort of supervillain, but I take that with a grain of salt. It's just a movie. I can identify the characters without getting caught up in the grandiosity of it all. There's a line from Fight Club where Tyler asks the protagonist who he would like to fight in the world. My answer is Jordan Peterson right now. Thank you for watching.